Ron DeSantis is the only person with a chance to defeat Donald Trump, and I would place that chance very, very low. But Ron DeSantis, if Donald Trump passes away, if he is literally in prison, I don't think the timing, I think he would appeal. I don't think there's any scenario we can literally imprison. And if Trump passes away or is in prison, I'm trying to think of another scenario. I think that's about it.
Freaky Friday into each other's bodies.
Right. If they Freaky Friday into each other's bodies. But here is Ron DeSantis on, is this Fox and Friends? Yeah. With Kayleigh McEnany and then two other chuds. And DeSantis has been losing weight, if you notice on this. I mean, he's lost a lot of weight because he's going to try and look more fit. This is where you get, this is where he's going to go with this. He's only got one really sort of thing he can say, and that is, I'm younger than Donald Trump, and I'm not going to die after the first term.
Governor, you're now in contention.
We have to watch everything at 2 times speed for Fox. Otherwise, we start to get nauseous. Here we go. Bear with us, folks.
Okay, well, let's bring in Governor Ron DeSantis, 2024 presidential candidate. Welcome.
Here we go.
Through the next election, and that's ultimately one of the reasons why they continue to fail.
Governor, you're now in contention, or you're now in the contest to be the presidential candidate for the Republican Party in 2024. Obviously, the front runner is President Donald Trump. When I go out and I talk to Americans, I don't know that you all share all the same policy positions. I don't know that you share the same personality, but you do share a base of Republicans. Most of the people that support you probably voted for President Trump twice. And the first comment I hear over and over again is, why doesn't Ron DeSantis wait for President Trump's second term and then run? And what is your best answer to that? Why is right now the time for Ron DeSantis to run for president?
Because everyone knows if I'm the nominee, I will beat Biden and I will serve 2 terms, and I will be able to destroy leftism in this country and leave woke ideology on the dustbin of history. At the end of the day, I've shown in Florida an ability to win huge swaths of voters.
I pause for 1 second. I mean, we can listen more of this, but first off, he's being a little evasive. Why can't he destroy woke ideology in 2024? I mean, 2028.
I mean, he
either we're going to take over the world with woke ideology and make everyone conform to the wokeness, or we're not. And if we're going to do it, it's still going to be here in 2028.
I mean, that's like as close as he gets to. He doesn't want to attack Trump directly, so he says, I'll win 2 terms and I'll beat Joe Biden, without saying, because he's got a problem that a lot of Republicans think that Trump actually beat Joe Biden too.
Well, that's the other thing. There is nobody who is listening to this, who is interested in either him or Trump, who doesn't think that Trump can't beat Biden. Yeah.
He should have his chance to do it because he was cheated out of it last time.
He's not. He made a very strange decision in becoming like more Trumpy than Trump. He thought he could out Trump, and he can't really. But it's nice that that his agenda for the government is to destroy woke ideology and defeat leftism. I mean, this guy, let me just put it this way with Ron DeSantis. I started my entertainment career doing voiceovers in Boston. And you do like a regional Dunkin' Donuts spot, and you thought you were like the king. You thought they were the king. And fortunately enough, like I I understood. I understood that was not the case. But there were people I remember in Boston who came out of there like, I did 2 Dunkin' Donut spots, and I did an industrial for Hanover Insurance. And they would come into New York or LA like they thought they were that's DeSantis has that kind of vibe. Like he's coming from like, like literally like the minors, not even the minors though. Like what is it like maybe AA ball and coming in going like,
I was Mr. Basketball in North Dakota.
exactly. No problem. No problem. Here we go. And this is him now talking about war policy with Ukraine. Oh, wait, is this number 3? Oh, this is number 2?
Talking about what distinguishes him from Trump and why he might be a better.
Well, let's do number 3. Can you set up number 3? Because this is the point, is that he doesn't seem to have any policies other than anti-woke. It's literally like, it's almost like you're playing a parlor game. How can you respond to what we're going to ask you with the same answer as you gave for every other question?
Yeah, and there you see in this question like the simultaneous be a hawk on China but poses anti-war with regards to Ukraine thing going on.
Right. Also, I love the fact that like they had a picture of him when he was fat, and it's like you can see how. Maybe actually not that fat. He's not like Donald Trump fat, but it's interesting. You got to get ready for prime time. He's done that.
Out the power of prayer. Well, I'm an example here with me and my wife where the power of prayer made a big difference, and she was able to get through this. It was not easy, but she was able to get through this, I think, handling it about as well as someone could under the circumstances, and I don't think she would have been able to do that without prayer.
Governor, it is Memorial Day.
Oh, pause it. Oh, I think they're talking about her recovery from cancer. You know what she wouldn't be able to do it without? Health insurance. The same health insurance that Florida denies. Was it 100, 200, 300,000 people on Medicaid? Anyways, go ahead.
Cor, you're a veteran yourself. Going into this election, potentially becoming president, we have a war in Ukraine we're financing. We have looks like China trying to attack us from the back door, it seems, through the Pacific. What can be done to stop
Pause it for 1 second. Just in case you hadn't watched the news over the weekend, China is not attacking us through the back door or the front door. China's not attacking us. Just to be clear. Just in case you thought you missed something over the weekend, the war had been declared. China is not attacking us. But this is Fox, and so China's attacking us.
Attack us from the back door, it seems, through the Pacific. What can be done to stop our country from spilling more blood on a foreign battlefield?
Well, first, I think we need to look at what's going on with the military right now. And I think the military that I see is different from the military I served in. I see a lot of emphasis now on political ideologies, things like gender pronouns. I see a lot about things like DEI. And I think that that's caused recruiting to plummet. I think it's driven off a lot of warriors, and I think morale is low. So all those issues are important, and we'll be rolling out a really strong program to counter China, because I think it is our #1 threat. But I think you've got to get things remoored to focusing on the core mission of why people want to join. Why would you have wanted to join the Marine Corps back in the day? Why do everybody else who joined the Army? I mean, I remember being in Iraq, and we were in Fallujah, and it was not going well, and yet people were still willing to sign up knowing they'd get sent to Iraq because they believed in that this was something special. And I think we've lost that a little bit, and I think we really need to rejuvenate the morale in the military. So we will do that on day one, and you will see very big changes in the services.
I just want to remind you that the question was, how do we avoid getting involved in wars? And the answer is the military has become too inclusionary. I guess we started letting in black people. What was it like?
That's the thing is this complaint has been made by the right against the military for like 100 years. First,
literally 100
integration.
years. Yeah.
Then about don't ask, don't tell, which DeSantis was in the military when we were getting acclimatized to that.
Exactly. But that's his answer. Well, I'll take care of the China thing. Don't worry about it. But the real thing is, now there's another reason I can tell you right now why recruitment is down for the military. And in fact, we had there was a Republican who let the cat out of the bag at one point. Was talking about all the COVID spending and was like, this is keeping people from joining the military. That's it. The reason why military recruitment is down, because the dirty little secret is that we need to have high unemployment to essentially fill the spaces in our military. And during Iraq, I remember walking out of that crappy office that Dorsey and I were working in. I think it was shortly after that. I remember walking across the street in the Dollar Pizza District to go get $1 pizza, hearing a conversation about this guy talking to another guy. Probably now, they would have been probably my age now, in their 50s or 60s, and saying, what's Jimmy up to all these days? No, he re-enlisted. He did? Why'd he do that? Couldn't find a job. Economy's too tough. I mean, that's basically it.
It's not for whatever reasons he thought was in the minds of soldiers post-Fallujah.
No, certainly not post-Fallujah. I mean, there was 2 or 3 years, I think, where you had a lot of people who were like, we should go to Iraq because we were attacked on 9/11.
Right.
But by the time you get up to like 2008, 2009, 2010, it's because the economy was hurting. It had following the crisis in 2008, 2011. There was, during the first couple of years of the Iraq war, we were running out of recruits. They were raising the age in which you were allowed to re-sign up. So he's an idiot. I mean, he's obviously lying. He probably knows the truth. But this just isn't going to cut it on a national stage for somebody who, like, why wouldn't I go with Donald Trump? If I want the answer to what are you going to do about China to be, I'm going to get rid of wokeism in the military. Why wouldn't I go with Donald Trump if I'm one of these Republicans?
He called it the China virus.
Exactly. At least he would answer the question. They're bad. And I'm going to beat them. I mean, that's how he would say.
And apparently, DeSantis criticized the Iraq invasion with a Stossel interview recently, but I need to look into that. What exactly
that's when he criticized the Iraq invasion, but the military was great at that time. Now it is so woke. It's all DEI.
Yeah. Yeah, he said the war shouldn't have been fought in a Stossel interview. So Trump said it was a big fat mistake. I'd be curious to see how much leeway he actually has if he can say that more than just on John Stossel's program where he's at.
One final clip of DeSantis on Fox and Friends. They're asking if he can beat Trump in Iowa. And this is what DeSantis has come up with. And also, just a reminder, DeSantis is known he's going to run for months and months and months and months. Like, there's not a single question here that should stump him. And it's amazing to me, like, this is what they've been working on. I mean, you're going to roll out this product, and this is what they've been working on? Like, his whole campaign so far is just like the Twitter
it's more
crash was a complete like metaphor for how like messed up it all went.
Yeah.
When was that announcement?
About 5 days ago, a week ago maybe.
Did we talk about how poorly that went?
Oh, yeah.
I don't even remember talking about it.
Yeah, we did.
It was so bad.
Well, I think we talked about it on Thursday.
Oh, on Thursday. So, yeah. Here is DeSantis talking about Iowa.
And what they've done under Governor Kim Reynolds. And I think the groundswell of support has been really, really strong. And, you know, we're going to press the case. I mean, you know, they had mentioned there may be some differences with me and Donald Trump. And I think that those differences redound to my benefit in a place like Iowa. I mean, for example, you know, he's taken the side of Disney in our fight down here in Florida. I'm standing for parents. I'm standing for children. And I think a multi-billion-dollar company that sexualizes children is not consistent with the values of Florida or the values of a place like Iowa.
Governor, I think...
Can you imagine that? I mean, honestly, the guy's going to Iowa And he brings up Disney. They just lost, incidentally. Apparently, Disney pulled out of this huge real estate deal that had a cascading effect on other real estate there. Frankly,
is Disney important to the Florida economy?
they're the biggest employer in the state. This guy, I just don't understand what his strategy is.
Do you know how excited Iowans would be if Disney announced that they were opening a theme park in Des Moines?
My God. And the thing is that like, if you know what he's talking about, you've got to be so deep into that internet culture. And I'm sure a lot of them are, but all those people have made up their mind. He's ostensibly on this program to reach a new audience. And you're telling people in Iowa, like I'm the one who attacks Disney. And they're going like, wait a second. The movie I took my kids to last weekend was a Disney movie. The book I'm reading to them is a Disney book. They love Mickey Mouse. What are you talking about?
They're trying to sexualize my kids?
Wait, what? And that's the amazing thing, is that he throws this stuff off like he is talking about some type of like dry, like you remember when they sold off the spectrum of like the FCC had an auction to sell off the rest of the UHF spectrum when UHF did. That's what it feels like he's talking about. But he's saying things like, we're going to eliminate leftism, and also we're going to prevent Disney from continuing to sexualize our children. Yep. Like, what? What? Wait, what?
The problem with the military is all the gender ideology.
How many people do you think were in Iowa who watched that interview and go, Disney's doing what? Where? What's going on? He sounds like a lunatic, I would imagine, even to like some Republicans. Like, I definitely believe there's 40%, 60% of Republicans are fully, sort of like aware and maybe have some issues with this. Maybe it's like 30%. But the rest of them haven't heard this stuff. Like Fox isn't doing stories about how bad Disney is. They're not doing that. They're not doing that. And particularly, I think like a big part of the, Fox library was spun off. And I imagine Murdoch still has a big chunk of change associated with that product. And so it's not like the audience knows what the hell he's talking about. This guy's in such like a internet bubble. It really is nuts.
And it's funny because you can tell the other Republicans are like Nikki Haley saying, hey, Disney, if you want to come to South Carolina, we're more than welcoming, which is like, it's such a funny attack because one, like, again, like you say, do people know what you guys are fighting over? Like, what are you talking about? And also Disney's probably good on moving to South Carolina.
I mean, it would be a little bit cooler in the summer. I mean, it seems like South Carolina would be the place to go, right?
Yeah.
Weather-wise, you got to go inland a little bit. You got to avoid like the hurricane. Well, I guess they're pretty safe down in Orlando. I don't know. There's got to be places in South Carolina. I think it'd be okay. But it is nuts. I don't think they know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And this is the way he's introducing himself to the country. And the funny part is he's been afraid to talk about his abortion ban. Does he think that nobody's going to talk about that? I mean, he's like, why is he keeping that quiet?
Yeah.
Why is he keeping that quiet? He's going full on, the military's full of wokeism. I'm going to defeat leftism.
Join me, Iowa, in my fight against Disney.
Why do I think I'm going to do well in Iowa? Well, because Iowa obviously wants to attack Disney. What state in the country could you say doesn't want to attack Disney if Iowa is going to? Everybody in Iowa is going like, wait, what? But here's the thing I don't understand. He signs the abortion ban in the middle of the night because he doesn't want any camera footage so that people can, but by the time he runs in the general, if he's going to run, they'll just reconstitute it through AI. This is a depiction of what DeSantis looked like when he was signing the abortion bill. It's produced by AI, but it happened. And of course, in fact, they should do that because then the DeSantis people will go, that's AI, that's not fair. And then they'll have to talk about it for another 2 news cycles because they're idiots. But the only time that's going to be relevant is when you're in the general election. And it's not like they're not going to bring it up. It's the one thing they're going to run on. So you might as well get the value out of it in the primary. This guy's a ding dong.